I should have known something was wrong when Vanessa started buying new underwear. Not the practical cotton stuff she'd worn for 15 years of marriage, but lacy black things that cost more than my work boots. The kind of underwear a woman doesn't buy for her electrician husband who comes home smelling like wire nuts and sweat. My name is Owen Riley, but everyone calls me Oz. I'm 41, I work union electrical, and until 3 months ago, I thought I had a decent marriage. Shows how much I know about anything. "You're working late again tonight?" I asked Vanessa as she stood in front of our bedroom mirror, applying makeup with the precision of a surgeon. It was Thursday, which used to be our pizza and Netflix night. "Girls' night with Cass and the crew," she said without looking at me. "I told you yesterday." I didn't remember her telling me, but lately my memory seemed to be full of holes where Vanessa's schedule was concerned. "Right, girls' night, again." She finally turned around, and I had to admit she looked good, really good. The kind of good that made me wonder why she was wasting it on Cass Morrison and her gaggle of divorced HR managers. "Don't wait up," she said, grabbing her purse and keys. "We might go dancing." Dancing. My wife of 15 years, who used to complain that her feet hurt after standing in line at the grocery store, was going dancing. After she left, I sat in my recliner with a beer and tried to figure out when everything had gone sideways. Tyler, our 14-year-old son, was upstairs doing homework or playing video games or whatever kids do when they're avoiding their parents. The house felt empty even with both of us in it. My phone buzzed. Text from my best friend, Nate. "Beer at Murphy's?" I grabbed my keys. Murphy's Tavern was the kind of bar where working men went to complain about their lives without judgment. Nate was already there, nursing a Budweiser and watching the Red Sox lose to Tampa Bay. "You look like someone stole your lunch money," he said as I sat down. "Vanessa's out with the girls again, 3rd time this week." Nate raised an eyebrow. He was a plumber, built like a fire hydrant, and had been married to the same woman for 23 years. "3rd time? That's a lot of girls' nights." "Tell me about it." The bartender, Jimmy, slid me a beer without being asked. I'd been coming here long enough that he knew my brand and my problems. "Maybe she's planning something," Nate suggested. "Birthday surprise or anniversary thing." "My birthday's not until December, and our anniversary was last month. She forgot." That got Nate's attention. "She forgot your anniversary? Said she was swamped at work. HR's been crazy, lots of new hires, blah, blah, blah." We drank in silence for a while, watching the Sox blow a 3-run lead. Finally, Nate spoke up. "You ever think about following her?" "What am I, a private detective? Besides, I trust my wife." Even as I said it, the words felt hollow. Did I trust her? Or was I just too scared to find out what she was really doing? I got home around 10:30. Vanessa's car wasn't in the driveway. I checked on Tyler, who was asleep with his math book open on his chest, then went to bed alone. She came home at 2:15 in the morning. I know because I was awake, staring at the ceiling and listening for her car. She tried to be quiet, but our bedroom door squeaks like a haunted house, and she bumped into the dresser in the dark. "Good time?" I asked. She jumped. "Jesus, Oz, you scared me." "Yeah, it was fun. Cass got a little too drunk and Belinda had to drive her home. She smelled like cigarettes and cheap cologne. Vanessa hadn't smoked since college, and I'd never smelled that cologne before. It was sweet and cloying, like something a 20-something would wear to impress girls at a club." "Where'd you go dancing?" "That new place downtown. Pulse, I think. The music was too loud." She was changing clothes with her back to me, quick and efficient. "I'm exhausted. We should sleep." She slipped into bed and turned away from me, curled up on her side like a question mark. Within minutes, she was snoring softly, but I lay awake until dawn, wondering when my wife had become a stranger. The next morning, she was gone before I got up, left a note saying she had an early meeting. I made Tyler breakfast and drove him to school, then headed to my job site at the new office complex on Route 9. I was running wire through ceiling tiles when my phone rang. Unknown number. "Mr. Riley? This is Wanda from the Sunset Motel. You left your keycard here last night." I nearly fell off my ladder. "I'm sorry, what?" "Your keycard, room 237. You can pick it up any time or I can mail it to the address on file." "I think you have the wrong person." "I wasn't at any motel last night." There was a pause. "Owen Riley? 42 Maple Street? That was my address." "Yeah, but I wasn't. Well, somebody was. Used your credit card, too. You might want to check on that." She hung up, leaving me staring at my phone like it had grown teeth. I called my credit card company during lunch break. Sure enough, there was a charge for $89.50 at the Sunset Motel the night before. While I was home waiting for my wife to come back from her girls' night out, the pieces started clicking together like a puzzle I didn't want to solve. The new underwear, the late nights, the cologne, the forgotten anniversary. My wife was having an affair and she was using my credit card to pay for it. I sat in my truck in the parking lot of a half-built office building and laughed until tears ran down my face. Not because it was funny, but because the alternative was screaming. That evening, I waited until Vanessa was in the shower, then checked her phone. She changed her passcode, which told me everything I needed to know, but she'd left her laptop open on the kitchen counter. I found the group chat in about 30 seconds. Cass, how was your boy toy last night? Vanessa. OMG, amazing. You weren't kidding about the size thing. Belinda. Told you. MJ doesn't disappoint. Tara. I'm so jealous. Dave hasn't touched me in months. Vanessa. Best part is Oz is paying for it and doesn't even know. Cass. You're terrible. I love it. Vanessa. He's so clueless. Thinks I'm having girls' nights. Belinda. What are you going to do when he finds out? Vanessa. He won't. And if he does, what's he going to do? He needs me more than I need him. I screenshotted everything, my hands shaking so hard I could barely work the trackpad. There were dozens of messages going back weeks, plans for parties at various motels, detailed descriptions of this MJ character and his performance, jokes about my weight, my job, my boring personality. The shower was still running upstairs. I kept reading. Cass. You should invite him to the party Saturday. Vanessa. MJ? To our party? Cass. Why not? We could all have some fun. Tara. I'm in if Belinda is. Belinda. Hell yes. It's been too long since I had a real man. Vanessa. You're all terrible. I love you guys. I closed the laptop and sat back in my chair. My wife wasn't just cheating on me. She was planning to share her boyfriend with her friends at some kind of group sex party, and they were all laughing about how stupid I was. The shower shut off upstairs. I heard Vanessa moving around in the bathroom, probably getting ready for another girls' night. I went to the kitchen and opened a beer, trying to process what I'd just learned. 15 years of marriage, a 14-year-old son, a mortgage, a life we'd built together. And she thought it was all one big joke. Vanessa came downstairs 20 minutes later, dressed to kill in a black dress I'd never seen before. Going out again? I asked. Cass is having a rough time with her divorce. We're going to cheer her up. Such a good friend, my wife, always ready to cheer people up. Have fun, I said. She kissed my cheek, and I smelled that cologne again. It was already on her skin. After she left, I sat in my chair and finished my beer, then opened another one. Tyler came downstairs around 9 looking for a snack. Where's Mom? Out with her friends. He nodded and grabbed a bag of chips. You okay, Dad? You look weird. Just tired, buddy. Long day. He studied my face for a moment, then shrugged. Okay, I'm going to play Xbox. Don't stay up too late. School tomorrow. I know. After he went back upstairs, I opened Vanessa's laptop again and read through more of the chat history. The details got worse. Much worse. Apparently, MJ was 29 years old, worked at a gym downtown, and had been servicing various members of my wife's friend group for months. They called him their shared boyfriend, and joked about scheduling time with him like he was a piece of equipment. My wife had discovered him 6 weeks ago and had quickly become his favorite. According to the messages, she was paying him cash in addition to covering the motel rooms, money that came out of our joint checking account. I was funding my wife's affair and didn't even know it. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the video. I found it buried in a folder labeled work stuff. It was 43 seconds long and featured my wife doing things I'd only seen in pornography, with a muscular black guy who looked like he spent more on protein powder than I made in a week. They'd filmed it. My wife had filmed herself cheating on me and saved it on the laptop we shared. I closed the computer and sat in the dark for a long time, listening to Tyler's video game sounds coming through the ceiling. My son, who still thought his parents had a normal marriage, who still believed in family dinners and bedtime stories and all the other lies we tell children to help them sleep at night. My phone buzzed. Text message from an unknown number. Saw the video. Pay me $5,000 or everyone sees it, including your son. I stared at the message, my blood turning to ice water. Someone had the video. Someone was blackmailing me. But who? And how did they get it? My phone buzzed again. Same number. 24 hours. Cash only. I'll be in touch. I looked around my living room at the family photos on the mantle and Tyler's school awards on the bookshelf. At the life I thought I had. Then I started laughing again, because I'd finally figured out the punchline to the joke. The joke was on me. The Sunset Motel looked exactly like the kind of place where marriages go to die. Peeling paint, broken neon sign, and a parking lot full of potholes that could swallow a small car. I sat in my truck across the street for 20 minutes, watching the comings and goings before I worked up the nerve to go inside. The lobby smelled like disinfectant and disappointment. Behind the counter sat a woman who looked like she'd seen everything twice and hadn't been impressed the first time. "Help you?" she asked without looking up from her magazine. "I'm Owen Riley. You called about a key card?" Now she looked at me, taking in my work clothes and wedding ring with the practiced eye of someone who'd processed 1,000 cheating spouses. "Room 237. You want it back, or should I just toss it?" "I'll take it. And I'd like to ask you a few questions, if that's okay." She shrugged. "Depends on the questions." I pulled out my wallet and laid a 20 on the counter. "How often has my wife been here?" "Your wife?" She looked at the 20, then at me. "Honey, I don't know who your wife is." I showed her a photo on my phone. Vanessa at Tyler's last baseball game, smiling and beautiful in the sunshine. The desk clerk's expression softened slightly. "Oh, her. Yeah, she's been coming around for about a month. Always with the same guy. Young, built like a brick crap house, drives a red Camaro. How often? 2-3 times a week, always pays cash, always leaves a mess. Housekeeping hates that room now." "What kind of mess?" She gave me a look that said, I really didn't want to know. "The kind that requires bleach and hazard pay." I thanked her and took the key card, though I wasn't sure why. Maybe I needed proof. Maybe I was just a glutton for punishment. Room 237 was on the second floor, at the end of a hallway that smelled like cigarettes and broken dreams. I stood outside the door for a full minute before I used the key card. The smell hit me first. Sweat, sex, and that same cheap cologne I'd been smelling on my wife. But there was something else, something worse. The room reeked like a locker room after a football game, all testosterone and bodily fluids. The bed was unmade, sheets twisted and stained. On the nightstand was an empty bottle of champagne and 2 plastic cups. Classy. I pulled out my phone and started taking pictures, documenting everything. The champagne bottle, the condom wrapper on the floor, the black lace panties hanging from the lampshade like a trophy. In the bathroom, I found more evidence. Men's cologne, the expensive kind, a bottle of pills with no label, and in the trash can, wrapped in tissue, a pregnancy test. Negative, thank God. I was photographing the test when I heard voices in the hallway. A woman's laugh, high and familiar. My wife's laugh. I looked around the room frantically. There was nowhere to hide except the bathroom, and that would trap me if they came in. The voices were getting closer. "Told him I was at book club," Vanessa was saying. "Book club? That's what you came up with?" A man's voice, young and cocky. Had to be MJ. It was the first thing I thought of. Besides, he never asked questions. "Your husband sounds like a real winner." "He's not so bad, just boring. And he has no imagination in bed." They were right outside the door now. I heard the key card beep and the handle started to turn. I did the only thing I could think of. I climbed out the bathroom window. The Sunset Motel wasn't built for dramatic escapes. The bathroom window was small and high up, and I had to contort myself like a yoga instructor to squeeze through it. I dropped 8 feet onto the concrete below, landing hard on my shoulder. Above me, I heard the room door open and my wife's voice saying, "God, it still smells like us in here." I limped to my truck and drove home, my shoulder throbbing and my head spinning. The photos on my phone felt like they weighed 1,000 pounds. At home, I sat at the kitchen table and went through everything I'd captured. The evidence was overwhelming and disgusting. My wife was having an affair with a man young enough to be her little brother, and they were doing it in a flea bag motel that charged by the hour. But I still didn't know who was blackmailing me. Tyler came home from school around 3:30, dumping his backpack by the door and heading straight for the refrigerator. "Hey, Dad, you're home early." "Finished the job ahead of schedule." "How was school?" "Boring. Mrs. Patterson gave us a pop quiz in history. I think I failed it." I looked at my son, really looked at him. He had Vanessa's eyes, but my stubborn chin. He was a good kid, smart and funny, and he deserved better than having his family blown apart by his mother's selfishness. "You'll do better next time," I said. "Yeah, maybe. Where's Mom?" "Work. She'll be home later." He nodded and grabbed an apple. "I'm going to Jimmy's house to work on our science project. That okay?" "Sure. Be home by dinner." After he left, I opened Vanessa's laptop again and dove deeper into her messages. There had to be something that would tell me who had the video and why they were blackmailing me instead of her. I found my answer in a conversation from 2 days ago. Cass. Did you see what Tara posted on Facebook? Vanessa. No, what? Cass. Pictures from girls' night. You can see MJ in the background of one of them. Vanessa. Crap. Did anyone comment? Belinda. Your neighbor, Mr. Daly, liked it, and some guy named Rick from your work. Vanessa. Rick Hoffman? From IT? Cass. Yeah, that's the one. He sent me a friend request right after. Vanessa. That's weird. Rick barely talks to anyone. Tara. Maybe he has a crush on Cass. Belinda. Or maybe he knows something. Rick Hoffman. I knew that name. He'd done some IT work at our house last year when Vanessa's laptop crashed. Quiet guy, thick glasses, the kind of person who faded into the background. But IT guys had access to everything, didn't they? I looked him up on Facebook. His profile was mostly private, but I could see enough. Divorced, no kids, lived alone in a studio apartment downtown, worked for the same company as Vanessa. The kind of guy who might hold a grudge against the world. The kind of guy who might see an opportunity for revenge and take it. My phone rang. Unknown number again. Hello? Mr. Riley, this is Rick. I think we need to talk. Bingo. What do you want, Rick? Not over the phone. Meet me at Denny's on Route 1 in an hour. Come alone. And if I don't, then your son gets to see Mommy's home movie when he checks his email tonight. The line went dead. I sat in my truck outside Denny's for 10 minutes, watching Rick Hoffman nurse a cup of coffee in a corner booth. He looked exactly like I remembered. Thin, pale, forgettable. The kind of man who could walk through a crowd without anyone noticing. He saw me coming and gestured to the seat across from him. Thanks for coming, he said. Cut the crap, Rick. What do you want? He smiled, and it wasn't a nice smile. I want what everyone wants. Respect. Recognition. A little payback for all the times I've been ignored and overlooked. So, you're blackmailing me? I'm offering you a business proposition. $5,000 and the video disappears forever. Your wife never has to know I have it, and your son never has to see what his mother really is. I studied his face. How did you get it? Your wife isn't as careful with her digital security as she thinks. She saved the video to her work cloud account. I have access to all employee accounts. It's part of my job. And you just happened to stumble across it? I've been monitoring your wife's online activity for months. She's been using company resources for personal business, including communicating with her boy toy. I was building a case to get her fired when I found the video. So why not just get her fired? Why involve me? Rick's smile got wider and nastier. Because getting her fired wouldn't be enough. She's one of those people who's had everything handed to her. Popular in high school, married a decent guy, nice house, good job. People like her never face real consequences. And you want to change that. I want to destroy her life the way mine was destroyed. But I'm willing to let you pay to keep your son out of it. $5,000 is a bargain for his innocence, don't you think? I wanted to reach across the table and strangle him. But he was right about one thing. Tyler didn't deserve to see that video. I need time to get the money together. You have until tomorrow night, cash only. I'll text you the location. He stood up and dropped a $5 bill on the table. Oh, and Mr. Riley, don't even think about going to the police. I have copies of everything stored in multiple locations. If anything happens to me, they get released automatically. He walked away, leaving me sitting alone in a Denny's booth, trying to figure out how my life had become a bad movie. But as I drove home, something Rick had said stuck with me. He'd been monitoring Vanessa's online activity for months, which meant he probably knew more about her affair than I did, which meant he might be useful for something other than blackmail. I was starting to form a plan. It wasn't a nice plan, and it wasn't a legal plan, but it was a plan that would give everyone exactly what they deserved, including me. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat in my home office with Vanessa's laptop, diving deeper into her digital life than any husband should ever have to go. By morning, I had a complete picture of her betrayal, and it was worse than I'd imagined. The affair with MJ had been going on for 2 months, not 6 weeks like I'd originally thought. She'd been lying about working late, lying about girls' nights, lying about everything. She'd spent over $3,000 of our money on hotel rooms, dinners, and gifts for her boy toy, money we'd been saving for Tyler's college fund. But the worst part was the planning. In 3 days, Vanessa and her friends were throwing a party at Cass's house. MJ would be the entertainment for all 4 women. They'd planned it like a birthday celebration, complete with decorations and a cake. A cake. They were having cake while they passed around my wife's boyfriend like a party favor. I made Tyler breakfast and got him off to school. then called in sick to work. I had things to do. First stop, the gym where MJ worked. Fitness Plus was one of those upscale places where people went to be seen as much as to work out. All chrome and mirrors and motivational posters about pushing through the pain. I paid for a day pass and asked about personal trainers. "You interested in someone specific?" the desk girl asked. "MJ Johnson, I heard he's really good." Her face lit up. "Oh yeah, MJ's amazing, super popular, but he's booked solid for the next month. I could put you on a waiting list." "That's okay. Is he here now? I'd like to meet him first." She pointed toward the weight room. "He's with a client, but they should be finishing up soon." I found him easily enough. He was exactly what I'd expected. Tall, muscular, handsome, in that generic way that women seem to love. He was spotting a middle-aged woman on the bench press, encouraging her with the kind of enthusiasm that probably cost $50 an hour. I waited until his session ended, then approached him at the water fountain. "MJ, I'm Owen Riley." He looked at me blankly for a moment, then his eyes widened slightly. "Oh, you're Vanessa's husband." "Yeah." To his credit, he didn't run or try to deny it. He just nodded and said, "We should probably talk somewhere private." We went outside to the parking lot. His red Camaro was parked in the spot closest to the door because of course it was. "Look, man," he said, "I know this is messed up, but nothing," I interrupted. "You're sleeping with my wife, using my money to do it. In my book, that makes you a thief and a homewrecker." "She told me you guys were separated." "Do I look separated to you? Did she mention our 14-year-old son when she was lying about our marriage?" His face flushed. "She said you were getting divorced, that it was just a matter of paperwork. More lies. We're not separated, we're not getting divorced, and you're not some innocent victim here. You're a 29-year-old man screwing a married woman and taking her money for it." "It's not like that." "Then what is it like, MJ? Explain it to me." He ran his hands through his hair, looking younger than his age. "Look, I never meant for it to get this complicated. Vanessa and her friends, they come in here all the time. They flirt, they tip big, they make it clear they're interested. I'm just trying to make a living. By whoring yourself out? By giving people what they want. These women, they're lonely, they're bored, they've got money to spend. I provide a service." "A service?" "Yeah, companionship, attention, whatever they need." I stared at him for a long moment. "You really don't see anything wrong with what you're doing?" "I see a bunch of adults making adult decisions. Nobody's getting hurt." "Nobody's getting hurt? My marriage is destroyed. My kid's about to find out his mother's a cheater, but nobody's getting hurt." He shrugged. "That's between you and Vanessa. I didn't make any promises to you." That's when I realized that MJ wasn't just a homewrecker. He was a sociopath. He genuinely didn't care about the damage he was causing as long as he got paid, which made what I was about to do a lot easier. "You're right," I said. "This is between me and Vanessa. But here's the thing, MJ. I know about the party at Cass's house this weekend. I know you're planning to service all 4 of them. And I know about the video you made with my wife." His face went white. "What video?" "The one on her laptop. The one where you two are doing things that would make a porn star blush. The one that's about to go viral if you don't do exactly what I tell you. You're bluffing." I pulled out my phone and showed him a screenshot. Just enough to prove I had it, not enough to traumatize myself further. "Holy crap," he whispered. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "You're going to break up with my wife. Tonight. You're going to tell her you're not interested anymore, that you found someone else, whatever, and you're going to cancel the party." "I can't do that. These women, they'll be furious. They've already paid me." "Then give them their money back. It's not that simple. Cass, she's got connections. She could get me fired, blacklisted. These rich ladies, they stick together." I smiled, and it felt like the first genuine smile I'd had in weeks. "Then I guess you'd better figure out how to make it simple. Because if you don't, that video goes to your boss, your clients, and every social media platform I can find. How's that going to work out for your career?" He stared at me for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Okay, I'll break up with her. Good. And MJ, if I find out you're still seeing any of them, the video goes public anyway. Are we clear?" "Yeah, we're clear." I walked back to my truck feeling better than I had in days. It wasn't much of a victory, but it was a start. My phone buzzed as I was driving home. Text from Rick Hoffman. "Have you decided about our arrangement?" I texted back. "Meeting tonight. Bring everything you have on my wife and her friends." That wasn't the deal. It is now. 8 p.m., Murphy's Tavern. Come alone and bring everything, or I go to the FBI about your hacking activities. I was bluffing about the FBI, but Rick didn't know that. And I was betting that a guy who made his living breaking into other people's digital lives had plenty to hide. Murphy's was nearly empty when Rick showed up at 8:15. He looked nervous, clutching a laptop bag like it contained nuclear secrets. "You said you'd bring the money," he said as he sat down. "Change of plans. I want to make a different deal." "I'm not interested in $5,000, I interrupted. "For everything you have on my wife and her friends. Every email, every text message, every photo. I want it all." "Why would you want that?" "Because I'm going to destroy them the same way you wanted to destroy her. But I'm going to do it right." Rick studied my face in the dim light of the bar. "You're talking about revenge." "I'm talking about justice. These women think they're untouchable. They think they can cheat and lie and laugh about it without consequences. I'm going to prove them wrong." "And what makes you think I'll help you?" "Because you hate them as much as I do, maybe more. And because $5,000 is better than nothing, which is what you'll get if I expose your little hacking operation." He was quiet for a long time, weighing his options. Finally, he opened his laptop. "I've got 2 years' worth of data," he said. "Email accounts, social media, cloud storage, everything. These women have no idea how much of their lives they've put online." "Show me." For the next hour, Rick walked me through his surveillance operation. He'd been monitoring not just Vanessa, but all of her friends. Cass was embezzling money from her divorce settlement. Belinda was having an affair with her daughter's boyfriend. Tara was running a prescription drug scam through her job at a medical office. "They're all criminals," Rick said with satisfaction. "Every single one of them." "And you've got proof of everything?" "Documented and verified. I was planning to use it eventually, but your offer is better than waiting for the right moment." I transferred $5,000 from my savings account to his, watching our college fund disappear with a few keystrokes. But it was worth it. With Rick's information, I could destroy all 4 women completely and legally. "Pleasure doing business with you," Rick said as he handed over a flash drive containing everything. "What are you going to do now?" I asked. "Disappear. I've got enough saved up to start over somewhere else. Maybe find a job where I don't have to look at these people every day." After he left, I sat in my truck and plugged the flash drive into my phone. The amount of information was staggering. Bank records, medical records, private messages, photos. Rick had been thorough to the point of obsession, but it was exactly what I needed. I drove home and found Vanessa waiting for me in the kitchen. She looked upset, her makeup smeared like she'd been crying. "We need to talk," she said. "About what?" "MJ broke up with me tonight, out of nowhere. Said he found someone else." I tried to look sympathetic. "I'm sorry, honey, that must be hard." "It doesn't make sense. Everything was going so well. We had plans for the weekend." "Plans?" She caught herself. "I mean, the girls and I had plans. A party at Cass's house, now it's ruined." "Maybe it's for the best," I said. "You've been spending a lot of time with them lately. Might be good to take a break." She stared at me suspiciously. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing. Just that you seem stressed lately. Maybe you should focus on family for a while." "Family." She said the word like it tasted bitter. "Right, family." She went upstairs without another word, leaving me alone in the kitchen with my thoughts and Rick's flash drive. Tomorrow, I would start phase 2 of my plan. By the time I was finished, Vanessa and her friends would understand what real consequences felt like, and I would have my life back. The next morning, I started my campaign of justice with a simple phone call. "Morrison Industries, this is Janet. Hi, I need to speak with someone in HR about an employee misconduct issue. Hold, please." While I waited, I reviewed Rick's files on Cass Morrison. She'd been skimming money from her divorce settlement, hiding assets from her ex-husband's lawyers, and using her position at Morrison Industries to falsify employment records for friends. She'd also been using company resources to plan her little sex parties, including sending explicit emails from her work account. "This is David Chen, HR Director. How can I help you?" "Mr. Chen, I have evidence that one of your employees, Cass Morrison, has been using company equipment and time for a personal business of an inappropriate nature. I'd like to send you some documentation." "What kind of inappropriate business?" "Organizing prostitution activities and using company email to coordinate them." There was a long pause. "That's a very serious allegation. Can you provide proof?" I can provide emails, photos, and financial records, everything you need to conduct a thorough investigation. Please send everything to this email address. We'll look into it immediately. I hung up and sent David Chen a carefully curated selection of Rick's evidence. Nothing that would implicate me or reveal my sources, but enough to bury Cass professionally. 1 down, 3 to go. Belinda Parker was next. According to Rick's files, she was having an affair with her 19-year-old daughter's boyfriend, Kyle. She was also stealing prescription drugs from the veterinary clinic where she worked as a technician. Rick had photos of her taking pills from the drug cabinet and text messages where she offered to sell them to friends. I called the state veterinary board and the DEA tip line. By noon, Belinda would be under investigation for drug theft and distribution. Tara Williams was running a prescription fraud scheme through her job at a medical billing company. She was creating fake patient accounts and billing insurance companies for medications that were never prescribed or delivered. Rick had documented over $50,000 in fraudulent claims over the past year. I forwarded that information to the Insurance Fraud Division of the State Attorney General's office. By lunchtime, I destroyed 3 careers and possibly sent 3 women to prison, and I was just getting started. My phone rang while I was eating a sandwich at my kitchen table. Vanessa, calling from work. Oz, something weird is happening. Cass just got escorted out of her building by security. They say she's been fired. That's terrible. What for? Nobody knows. HR won't say anything except that it was immediate termination for cause. And Belinda isn't answering her phone. Maybe she's at work? I called the vet clinic. They said she's not coming in today, or ever. They fired her too. I made appropriate sympathetic noises while inside I was celebrating. That's really strange. 2 of your friends fired on the same day? 3, Tara just texted. She's been suspended pending investigation. Something about billing irregularities. Wow, what are the odds? This can't be a coincidence, Oz. Someone's targeting us. Us. Even now, she was thinking of herself as part of their group instead of part of our marriage. Why would anyone target you? I asked. You haven't done anything wrong, have you? Another pause. Of course not. But someone's obviously got it in for our friend group. I'm scared, Oz. What if I'm next? I'm sure you'll be fine, honey. You're not like them. But she was like them. She was exactly like them. And she was next. After she hung up, I opened her laptop and accessed her work email account. Rick had given me her password along with everything else. I scrolled through months of messages, looking for the perfect ammunition. I found it in an email thread from 3 weeks ago. Subject, Tyler's school records. Vanessa. Can someone in records help me out? I need Tyler's grades changed for his high school applications. His math grade is bringing down his GPA. Jennifer, records deployed. I can't officially change grades without teacher approval. Vanessa. What about unofficially? I could make it worth your while. Jennifer. How worth my while? Vanessa. 500 cash, no questions asked. Jennifer. Send me the details. My wife had bribed a school employee to falsify our son's academic records. Tyler, who was a good student and didn't need his grades changed. She'd done it without telling me, using money from our joint account. I forwarded the email chain to the school district's ethics hotline and the district attorney's office. Bribery of a public official was a felony in our state. Then I sat back and waited for the dominoes to fall. Tyler came home from school around 4, looking confused and upset. Dad, something weird happened today. Mrs. Peterson from the office called me down and asked me a bunch of questions about my grades, like whether I knew they'd been changed or if anyone had talked to me about it. My heart sank. What did you tell her? The truth, that I didn't know what she was talking about. My grades are fine. Why would anyone change them? I don't know, buddy. Did she say anything else? Just that they might need to talk to you and Mom. She seemed really serious about it. I hugged him, feeling like the worst father in the world. I'd been so focused on destroying Vanessa that I hadn't considered how it might affect Tyler. Whatever happens, I told him, remember that none of this is your fault, okay? Sometimes adults make bad decisions and kids get caught in the middle. Are you and Mom getting divorced? The question hit me like a punch to the gut. Why would you ask that? You guys don't talk anymore. She's never home. And when she is home, you both act weird around each other. I'm not stupid, Dad. I looked at my 14-year-old son, who was clearly more perceptive than I'd given him credit for. I don't know what's going to happen, I said honestly. But whatever it is, you'll be okay. I promise. He nodded, but I could see the fear in his eyes. fear that his world was about to change in ways he couldn't control or understand. Vanessa came home at 6:30, looking like she'd aged 10 years in one day. She went straight to the liquor cabinet and poured herself a large glass of wine. Bad day? I asked. The worst. Cass, Belinda, and Tara are all under investigation. Cass for embezzlement and misuse of company resources. Belinda for drug theft. Tara for insurance fraud. That's awful. And that's not even the worst part. She took a long drink of wine. I got called into HR today. Someone sent them emails about Tyler's school records, about the grade change. What grade change? She stared at me. Don't play dumb, Oz. You know what I did? Actually, I don't. Why don't you explain it to me? I paid Jennifer in records to bump up Tyler's math grade. Just one letter grade, from a B+ to an A. His GPA was 3.7, and I wanted it to be higher for his high school applications. You bribed a school employee to falsify our son's records? It's not that big a deal. Everyone does it. Everyone does not do it, Vanessa. It's illegal. It's fraud. And Tyler didn't need his grades changed. He's a good student. I was trying to help him get into a better high school. You were trying to make yourself look like a better parent. There's a difference. She finished her wine and poured another glass. Someone's doing this to us, Oz. Someone has access to all our private information, and they're using it to destroy our lives. Our lives? Or just yours and your friends' lives? What's that supposed to mean? It means maybe this isn't random. Maybe someone knows about the things you've been doing and decided you should face consequences. What things? What are you talking about? I looked at my wife, really looked at her. Even now, caught red-handed in multiple lies and crimes, she was trying to play innocent. I know about MJ, I said quietly. The color drained from her face. What? I know about the affair, the motel rooms, the parties with your friends. I know about all of it. She sat down heavily at the kitchen table. How long have you known? Long enough. The question is, what are we going to do about it? We could try counseling, work things out. I could end it with MJ. You already did. He dumped you yesterday, remember? She flinched like I'd slapped her. That was you. You made him break up with me. I didn't make him do anything. I just showed him what the consequences of his actions might be. You threatened him. I educated him. There's a difference. We sat in silence for a long time. Upstairs, I could hear Tyler playing video games, oblivious to the fact that his family was disintegrating in the kitchen below. What do you want? Vanessa asked finally. I want my wife back. The woman I married. The mother of my son. Not this stranger who lies and cheats and thinks it's all a joke. I never thought it was a joke. Didn't you? All those messages with your friends laughing about how clueless I was? How boring I was? How you were using my money to pay for your boyfriend? She started crying, ugly sobs that shook her whole body. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Oz. I don't know what happened to me. I just felt so old, so invisible. MJ made me feel young again. So, you destroyed our marriage to feel young? I didn't mean to destroy anything. I thought I could keep it separate, have my fun, and still have my family. Well, congratulations. You got your fun, and now you're going to lose everything else. My phone buzzed. Text message from an unknown number. Check your email. You're going to want to see this. I opened my email on my phone. New message with a video attachment. The subject line read, Vanessa's Greatest Hits. It was a compilation video, professionally edited, showing highlights from multiple encounters between my wife and MJ. Someone had taken Rick's raw footage and turned it into a pornographic highlight reel, complete with music and slow-motion effects. What is it? Vanessa asked, seeing my expression. I showed her the phone. She watched for about 10 seconds before she started screaming. Oh God, no. Where did this come from? Who sent it? I don't know, but I'm betting it's not just going to me. As if on cue, her phone started ringing. Then mine. Then the house phone. The video had gone viral, and our nightmare was just beginning. The calls started at 7 p.m. and didn't stop until I unplugged every phone in the house. Vanessa's mother, my brother, Tyler's teachers, neighbors, co-workers, everyone we knew had apparently received the video. Vanessa locked herself in the bathroom and refused to come out. I could hear her crying through the door, great heaving sobs that might have broken my heart a week ago. Now they just sounded like justice. Tyler came downstairs around 8, looking confused and worried. Dad, what's going on? People keep calling and hanging up when I answer. And Mrs. Henderson from next door was staring at our house from her window. Sit down, son. We need to talk. I told him everything. Not the graphic details, but the basic truth. His mother had been cheating, she'd been caught, and now everyone knew about it. He listened in silence, his face getting paler with each revelation. "Is that why you guys have been acting weird?" he asked when I finished. "Yeah, buddy, that's why." "Are you getting divorced?" "Probably." He nodded slowly, processing it all. "Will I have to choose who to live with?" "We'll figure that out when the time comes. But no matter what happens, both your mom and I love you very much. This isn't your fault, and it doesn't change how we feel about you." "I know." He was quiet for a moment. "Dad, I'm glad you told me. I hate it when adults think kids can't handle the truth." I hugged him, proud of how mature he was being. "You're a good kid, Tyler. Better than either of your parents deserve." "That's not true. You're a good dad. Mom's just confused." Confused. That was one way to put it. My phone buzzed. Text from Nate. "Holy crap, man, just saw the video. Are you okay?" I texted back. "Been better. Can you come over?" On my way. Nate arrived 20 minutes later with a six-pack of beer and a grim expression. He took one look at me and shook his head. "Jesus, Oz, I'm sorry. I know I said you should follow her, but I never thought it would be this bad. It gets worse. She's facing criminal charges for bribing a school official. Her friends are all under investigation for various crimes, and someone just sent that video to everyone we know." "Who would do that?" "I have some ideas." We sat in my living room, drinking beer and trying to make sense of the situation. Upstairs, Vanessa was still locked in the bathroom. Tyler had gone to his room to do homework, or at least pretend to. "What are you going to do?" Nate asked. "I don't know. File for divorce, I guess. Try to get custody of Tyler. Start over." "You could fight this. Hire a lawyer. Go after whoever sent the video." "With what money?" "Vanessa spent our savings on her boyfriend. And honestly, I'm not sure I want to fight it. Maybe it's time for everyone to see who she really is." My phone rang. Unknown number. But I recognized the voice immediately. "Mr. Riley? This is MJ. We need to talk." "I thought we already talked." "That was before someone sent a sex tape to my boss, my clients, and my mother. My life is ruined, man. I lost my job, I'm getting evicted, and my girlfriend broke up with me." "Sounds like a personal problem." "You did this. I don't know how, but you're behind all of this. I'm behind your decision to sleep with my wife. I'm behind your decision to take money for sex. That's interesting. I'm going to sue you for harassment, for defamation, for what? Exposing the truth? Good luck with that." I hung up and turned off my phone. Nate was staring at me with something like admiration. "Damn, Oz, you're handling this better than I expected." I've had time to process it, and honestly, it feels good to have everything out in the open. No more lies, no more pretending. The bathroom door upstairs finally opened, and we heard Vanessa's footsteps on the stairs. She appeared in the living room doorway, looking like she'd been hit by a truck. Her makeup was gone, her hair was a mess, and her eyes were red and swollen. "Hi, Nate," she said quietly. "Vanessa?" His voice was cold, professional. Nate had always been polite to her, but I could tell he was struggling to maintain even basic civility. "Oz, we need to talk. Privately. Anything you have to say to me, you can say in front of Nate. He's family." She flinched but sat down on the couch anyway. "I've been thinking about what you said, about consequences. You're right. I made terrible choices and now I have to live with them. That's a start. I want to make this right, whatever it takes. It's too late for that, Vanessa. You can't unmake a sex tape. You can't unbribe a school official. You can't undo 2 months of cheating. I can try to earn your forgiveness. I'm not interested in your forgiveness. I'm interested in protecting Tyler and rebuilding my life without you in it." She started crying again, but this time it felt manipulative rather than genuine. "Please, Oz, don't do this. Don't throw away 15 years of marriage over one mistake." "One mistake? You call 2 months of systematic cheating and lying one mistake?" "I was going through a midlife crisis. I wasn't thinking clearly." "You were thinking clearly enough to use my credit card to pay for hotel rooms. You were thinking clearly enough to bribe school officials. You were thinking clearly enough to make a video with your boyfriend." "That video wasn't my idea. MJ said it would be fun, something private just for us." "And you believed him? A 29-year-old gym trainer who was sleeping with multiple women for money?" Nate stood up. "I should go. This is between you two." "No, stay," I said. "I want a witness for this conversation." He sat back down reluctantly. Vanessa, I continued, I want you to understand something. This marriage is over. Not because of the cheating, although that's part of it. Not because of the lies, although those matter too. It's over because you showed me who you really are, and I don't like that person. People change, Oz. I can change. Maybe you can, but I can't forget what you did. Every time I look at you, I'm going to remember that video. Every time you're late coming home, I'm going to wonder if you're cheating again. Every time you laugh with your friends, I'm going to wonder if you're laughing about me. So, that's it? You're just giving up? I'm not giving up. I'm moving on. There's a difference. She sat there for a long time, staring at her hands. Finally, she looked up at me with something like resignation in her eyes. What about Tyler? What about him? Custody, visitation, how do we handle this? We'll figure it out. But given your current legal troubles, I'm thinking primary custody should probably be with me. You can't take my son away from me. I'm not taking him away. I'm protecting him from the consequences of your choices. There's a difference. My phone, which I'd turned back on, started buzzing with notifications, text messages, missed calls, social media alerts. The video was spreading faster than I'd expected. It's not going to stop, Vanessa said, looking at my phone. This is going to follow us forever. Tyler's going to have to deal with this for the rest of his life. Tyler's going to have to deal with having a mother who made a sex tape. That's on you, not on whoever released it. You know who released it, don't you? I didn't answer. It was you. You orchestrated all of this. The investigations, the video, everything. I didn't make the video, Vanessa. I didn't force you to cheat. I didn't make you bribe school officials. All I did was make sure the truth came out. You destroyed my life. You destroyed your own life. I just documented it. She stood up abruptly. I can't stay here. I can't face the neighbors, the phone calls, the looks. I'm going to stay with my sister for a while. That's probably a good idea. I'll come back for my things when you're not here. Fine. She started toward the stairs, then turned back. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen. I know you didn't. That's what makes it worse. You didn't set out to destroy our family. You just didn't care enough about us to avoid it. After she left, Nate and I sat in silence for a while, finishing our beer and watching the phone continue to buzz with notifications. You really did it, he said finally. You actually destroyed her. She destroyed herself. I just helped speed up the process. How do you feel about it? I thought about that for a moment. Free, I said finally. For the first time in months, I feel free. Upstairs, Tyler's door opened, and he came down to the living room. Is Mom gone? For now. She's going to stay with Aunt Linda for a while. He nodded. Good. I don't want to see her right now. You don't have to see her until you're ready. Will she go to jail? Maybe, probably. Bribing a public official is a felony. Good, he said again, and I was struck by the coldness in his voice. My 14-year-old son sounded like a man who'd been betrayed by someone he trusted. Tyler, it's okay to be angry with her, but don't let that anger consume you. She's still your mother, and she does love you, even if she has a funny way of showing it. I know, but right now I just want her to face consequences for what she did. Is that wrong? No, son, that's not wrong at all. The three of us sat together in my living room, watching the wreckage of my marriage play out in real time on social media. It should have been the worst night of my life. Instead, it felt like the first night of my new life. A life where the truth mattered more than appearances, where actions had consequences, where a man could stand up for himself and his family without apologizing for it. Outside, I could see Mrs. Henderson still watching our house from her window. Let her watch. Let them all watch. I had nothing left to hide. 3 months later, I was sitting on my front porch with Tyler, watching him work on his homework while I nursed a beer and enjoyed the October evening. The maples in our front yard had turned brilliant red and gold, and for the first time in years, I was actually noticing things like the changing seasons. Dad, can you help me with this algebra problem? Tyler asked, looking up from his textbook. Sure, buddy. What have you got? We worked through the equation together, and I was struck by how much older he seemed. The events of the summer had aged him in some ways, but they'd also made him stronger and more self-reliant. He was doing better in school, had made some new friends, and seemed genuinely happier despite everything that had happened. There you go, I said as he solved the problem. You're getting good at this stuff. Thanks. Hey, did you see the news about Mom? I had seen it. Vanessa had been sentenced to 6 months in county jail and 2 years probation for bribery of a public official. She'd also been ordered to pay restitution and perform community service. The divorce had been finalized 2 weeks ago, with me getting primary custody of Tyler in the house. Yeah, I saw it. How do you feel about it? Tyler shrugged. She broke the law. She has to pay for it. That's how things work. You're pretty mature for 14. I had to grow up fast this year. That was true, and it broke my heart a little. But Tyler had handled everything with a grace and wisdom that amazed me. He'd visited his mother a few times since she'd been sentenced, but he'd made it clear that their relationship would have to be rebuilt from the ground up. My phone buzzed. Text message from an unknown number, but I recognized the name in the signature, MJ Johnson. Mr. Riley, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I wanted you to know that I'm in therapy now, working on understanding why I made the choices I did. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just wanted you to know that I'm trying to be a better person. I'm sorry for the pain I caused you and your family. I showed the message to Tyler. What do you think I should do with this? He read it carefully. I think you should delete it and not respond. Some people don't deserve second chances. Smart kid. I was about to delete the message when another car pulled into our driveway. Nate's truck with someone I didn't recognize in the passenger seat. Nate got out and waved. Hey, Oz, Tyler, want you to meet someone? The passenger turned out to be a woman about my age, with short brown hair and laugh lines around her eyes. She was wearing jeans and a flannel shirt, and she looked comfortable and confident in her own skin. This is Sarah Martinez, Nate said. Sarah, this is my best friend Oz and his son Tyler. Nice to meet you both, Sarah said, shaking our hands. Nate's told me a lot about you. All good things, I hope, I said. Mostly. She smiled, and it was a genuine smile that reached her eyes. He said you make the best barbecue in the neighborhood. He's not wrong. You hungry? Always. I fired up the grill while Tyler finished his homework, and Nate and Sarah sat on the porch talking. Sarah turned out to be a high school English teacher who'd been divorced for 3 years and had 2 kids of her own. She was funny and smart and didn't seem to have any hidden agendas or complicated drama in her life. So you're the famous Oz, she said as I flipped burgers on the grill. Nate says you've had quite a year. That's one way to put it. He tell you the whole story? The basics. Wife cheated, you exposed her, she went to jail, you got custody. Very Old Testament. I laughed. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, I guess it was pretty biblical. Do you regret it? The way things went down? I thought about that while I watched the burgers cook. I regret that Tyler had to go through it. I regret that our family got destroyed, but do I regret exposing the truth? No, I don't. Good. Truth matters, even when it's ugly. Especially when it's ugly. We ate dinner on the porch as the sun went down, talking about books and movies and normal things that normal people talk about. It felt strange and wonderful to have a conversation with a woman that didn't involve lies or hidden meanings or emotional landmines. After dinner, Sarah helped Tyler with his English homework while Nate and I cleaned up. She seems nice, I said as we loaded the dishwasher. She is. And she's interested, if you're wondering. It's too soon, Nate. The divorce just got finalized. I'm not saying you should marry her tomorrow. I'm saying maybe it's time to remember that not all women are like Vanessa. I know that, intellectually, but emotionally, I'm not ready to trust anyone yet. Fair enough, but don't wait too long. Good ones don't stay single forever. After they left, Tyler and I sat back on the porch enjoying the quiet evening. I like her, he said. Sarah? Yeah, she seems nice. You should ask her out. You think so? Dad, you're 41, not 91. You're allowed to date. When did you get so wise? I've always been wise. You just haven't been paying attention. That made me laugh. Fair point. We sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the neighbors come home from work and walk their dogs. It was a normal suburban evening, the kind I'd taken for granted for years. Dad, can I ask you something? Shoot. Do you think Mom will ever be normal again? Like, after she gets out of jail? I don't know, buddy. I hope so. People can change, but they have to want to change. Do you think she wants to? I think she's starting to understand that actions have consequences. Whether that translates into real change remains to be seen. Would you ever take her back? If she changed? I considered the question seriously. No. Too much has happened. Too much trust has been broken. But that doesn't mean she can't have a relationship with you, if that's what you want. I don't know what I want yet. Is that okay? That's perfectly okay. You don't have to decide anything right now. Take your time, Figure out how you feel, and don't let anyone pressure you into anything. Thanks, Dad. For what? For telling me the truth, for fighting for us, for not just giving up and letting her get away with everything. I looked at my son, this amazing kid who'd been through hell and come out stronger on the other side. You don't have to thank me for that, Tyler. That's what fathers do. We protect our families. Not all fathers. No, not all fathers. But I do. My phone buzzed one more time. This time it was a news alert. Local women's fraud ring sentencing complete. I clicked on the article. Cass Morrison had been sentenced to 2 years in federal prison for embezzlement and fraud. Belinda Parker got 18 months for drug theft and distribution. Tara Williams received 3 years for insurance fraud. All 4 women who'd thought they were untouchable had been brought down by their own choices. What is it? Tyler asked, seeing my expression. Justice, I said, showing him the article. Complete and total justice. He read the article and nodded approvingly. Good. They all got what they deserved. Yes, they did. I looked around at my neighborhood, at my house, at my son doing homework in the porch light. 6 months ago, I'd thought my life was falling apart. Now I realized it had been falling together. The lies were gone. The pretending was over. The people who'd betrayed us were facing consequences. Tyler and I were closer than we'd ever been. And for the first time in years, I was looking forward to the future instead of just enduring the present. Hey, Dad? Yeah? I'm proud of you. For everything you did. For how you handled it all. Thanks, son. That means everything to me. I know it wasn't easy. Standing up to Mom and her friends. Fighting back when they tried to destroy us. Sometimes doing the right thing isn't easy. But it's still the right thing. I'll remember that. I finished my beer and stood up to go inside. Come on, let's get you ready for bed. School tomorrow. Actually, Dad, can we stay out here a little longer? It's nice. So we stayed on the porch, father and son, watching the stars come out over our quiet neighborhood. The air was crisp with the promise of winter, but inside I felt nothing but warmth. Somewhere across town, my ex-wife was sitting in a jail cell, finally facing the consequences of her choices. Somewhere else, her former friends were doing the same. The man who'd helped destroy my marriage was working at a gas station, his personal training career over, his reputation ruined. And here I was, on my front porch with my son, free from lies and pretense and the weight of other people's betrayals. It had been a long journey from that first night when I discovered Vanessa's affair. There had been pain and anger and moments when I'd wondered if I was doing the right thing. But sitting here now, with Tyler beside me and the truth finally out in the open, I knew I'd made the right choices. Some people might call what I'd done revenge. I preferred to think of it as justice. There's a difference, and it matters. Revenge is about hurting people because they hurt you. Justice is about making sure actions have consequences, that the truth matters, that people can't just destroy other people's lives without facing the results of their choices. I'd chosen justice, and justice had set me free. The porch light cast a warm circle around us as Tyler finally finished his homework and we headed inside. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opportunities, maybe even new relationships if I was ready for them. But tonight, I was exactly where I belonged. Home with my son, at peace with my choices, and free from the lies that had nearly destroyed us both. As I locked the front door and turned off the porch light, I smiled. For the first time in months, I was genuinely happy, and that was the best revenge of all.